spot. You just hit on something really important there, though, is everybody wants that viral moment. But what really moves things is if you can go get, people don't want to do the small wins anymore. They don't want to do the ballot initiatives. They don't want to do the local ordinance. They don't want to do the local. I know petitions are kind of old school, but you still do them online. Look, that's just data information, same concept, right? People don't want to do the small wins, and the small wins stack up to big wins. Everybody wants to skip that. They want to do the viral moment. They want to get the national money. Let's all be adults here. You get the national fundraising, the national money, and the big attention, and then nothing changes. But plenty of people, it's like an NFL team. Lots of people say they're serious about winning, but the same couple of teams win every year. Why? Well, because it wasn't really about winning. It was about I'm in charge of it, or we're making a lot of money, or whatever. Same thing with politics. The people that are serious about winning usually do some winning at some point because they were serious about it. And the people that just enjoy the game of being involved in politics stay involved in the game and don't do a whole lot of winning. At some point, the scoreboard actually matters, and we should just start judging people accordingly, yeah?
Oh, 100%. I mean, take a small thing in Wheeling, which was an ordinance that was proposed that would have banned the feeding of feral cats. Maybe one of the smallest issues you could possibly pick to fight against. And people came to that city council meeting in droves. As many people, if not more people, signed up to speak for that issue than they did the urban camping ban, which very much would hurt people more than feeding cats. But people signed up and they voiced their concerns. People are animal lovers. This is things that on any side of the aisle that you are politically, I like animals. Not everyone says, let's go feed the cats that are outside. Neither here nor there. People like animals. So when there's this idea that we're going to starve the animals to death, they're going to die, these poor, people just lost their minds. I mean, they were on Facebook. Some people got nasty, as all debates do, but people went online, they voiced their opinions, they showed up to council, they packed the chambers, and what did the council do? They tabled the motion for that ordinance. It was like the first reading. It wasn't even going to pass that night. They tabled the ordinance. The guy who apparently is the one that was kind of the lead sponsor for this, the one that suggested the idea, apologized and said he didn't know all of the things. And, one of the crux of the argument was that it was going to impact people's private property rights, that if I'm on my private property, I can do what I want and I can feed 1 million stray cats if I want to. And people spoke and they took the ordinance off. It was an easy win. What I would like to see that easy win turn into is then people say, wow, all I had to do was share my opinion and people listened to me and it made them act a certain way. I want more crosswalks on my neighborhood streets. I'm going to go and talk about the crosswalks. I'm going to go talk about flowers. And then all of a sudden, you're talking about little issues like cats and crosswalks and cute little flowers. And then the next month, you're talking about beautification. There are dilapidated houses all around me. The people that own them, we've got to do something about these people who are sitting on these properties. They're falling down and they won't sell them. They won't fix them up. We've got to do something about that. Now and it just will snowball into this bigger and bigger thing. People can start to realize that they actually have power on these local levels. And especially in the city of Wheeling, if enough people, I think it's like 15% of the electorate, find out, if you're going to council all the time and you're saying more crosswalks, more flowers, and they're like, no, 15% of the people sign a petition, all of a sudden you've recalled that elected official and we try again. There's an immense amount of power on the local level that nobody sees, that I do see because I've had to read the city code so many times to understand how this body works, because they won't tell you how it works. They love that not many people show up. And I'm not speaking about them personally. I'm speaking of them as an institution. The council loves that nobody shows up. And I think the council loves that nobody gives them a hard time, that nobody has ever really used the petitions for redress, which are these, basically like a petition.org, but would actually, or change.org, but that would actually have some kind of meaningful reaction, because most of the petitions online are really just to make yourself feel good about signing something. That if we could get that small change, if we could get people to understand that On day one, you're arguing for or against feeding feral cats. And then day like 1000, you're getting a beautiful, nice renovated homes in your neighborhood, and you're changing parking minimums so that new developers can come in, and you're making sure your streets are safe. You're getting speed bumps in that one street that everyone just flies through and you're afraid to have your kids out. You're creating that momentum from day one to 1000. You got to start with the small. People don't want the small steps because I can get on my phone and nowadays go to some AI generator and type in whatever question I have about the world and get probably a wrong answer, but one that people will still believe. And that feels like that instant gratification. I think part of my job as this independent reporter is to remind people that the small wins really matter. The instant gratification feels good, but sometimes what feels even better is turning around at day 1000 and seeing all of the work that you've done before. If we can get that through people's heads, I think we'll have a pretty successful local democracy, and that would feed upward. There's no trickle down, but it would trickle up into the national spotlight.